ago, I got 2 molds that I loved and wanted to try. I posted the photo in Instagram and asked which one you would rather see, and most people answer both. So here I am showing the second mold in a cake. If you like this type of tutorial, feel free to subscribe to my channel. All the links will be posted in the comment box below. Cake is very much like fashion, and one of the trends that we were seeing everywhere was ruffles. The thing is that ruffles can be time consuming, just like rosettes are. I did this cake a while ago, and for as much as I love it, it takes so much time. And when I'm making cakes, you guys know I like fast, so I am glad they came up with this beautiful mold. I will post the link below for it. As you can see, I will be working with navy fondant. I got a great recipe for fondant that I will post the link below, or you can get some navy blue fondant from companies like Satin Eyes or Renshaw. You want to knead your fondant well, and this is the only time I will tell you to leave the fondant thick. Because we're working with ruffles, you will need to be able to fill the spaces in between the ruffles. So if your fondant is not thick enough, then the mold will start showing through the fondant. When that happens, you will see the mold showing through the fondant. And then when you lift the fondant from the mold, you will have a lot of holes. I can say to you that yes, you might be able to patch it up. But to avoid that, just go ahead and roll it a little bit thicker. Trying to patch it up takes more work than just rolling the thicker fondant, so just avoid the step. When working with a thicker fondant, you might have a little bit of a hard time finding your edges. Just use your fingers or the rolling pin. Make sure to press well everywhere so the fondant reaches every area of your mold. As you can see, there is no holes in the fondant this time, and you don't have to work extra to hide them. Once you take the excess fondant away, you want to make sure that the edges are clean. Use your rolling pin to smooth everything out and take the excess fondant. This time, I will suggest you to turn the mold around so you can see where the mold is not completely pressed. Make sure to press on both sides, the side for the fondant and then on the other side. This is the only time I will make sure that this is pressed because we are working with ruffles and you want the ruffles to be nice and very well pressed so you can see the nice thin edges. And like always, make sure that your borders are clean. Once you have everything well pressed, you can place this in the freezer for 5 minutes and let it cool down, or you can just place it directly in your cake. It really depends on your preference. For those of you who have trouble working with these molds, putting it in the freezer helps because it makes the fondant harder. This one I'm not putting in the freezer so you can see it can be done without it too. I am adding some piping gel on the back of the mold. Give a nice coat of piping gel all around the mold. You can also use corn syrup. If you want to thin the corn syrup, you can add some lemon extract or you can add some water. Once everything is brushed well, you're ready to place this on the cake. As I've shown before, you want to stretch the mold everywhere and then you can place it on your cake. Stretching the mold, make sure that it detaches from the mold before you place it on the cake. As you can see, there is a lip at the top, but there's no lip at the bottom. That is important because you want it flush to the bottom of the cake. Press the mold towards the cake and just make sure it attaches. Just press everywhere, and when it's attached, you're ready to take your mold away. Lightly pat to make sure everything is attached. Do not press hard or you will lose the pattern on the fondant. Now I'm attaching my second part of the mold, and as you can see, it matches really nicely. I tend to just place it there but not press it because I want to make sure that it matches really well. So I place the connection where it should go and then press the rest of the mold in place. Everybody has their own way of doing things, so if you have a better way of doing it, please share it with me. Once I have everything placed, then I can play with that area and make sure that it fits properly. You can use any tool you want to do this. All I am doing is moving things around to make sure they are not overlapping. And if I need to pull it or stretch it, I will use the tool to do it. As you can see, I am pressing down, but I am not being hard on the fondant. You don't want to lose the pattern. If by any chance there was an area where you didn't press well, you can fix it too. Just use the tool to move the fondant around so you can open the ruffles again. As you can see, where it meets is completely hidden, and I was able to fix an area I pressed too much. As you can see here, when you press the mold really nicely, it shows beautiful ruffles. This is the amount of space I had in the back, and this is where it gets a little bit tricky. But it can be done. For this part, I am not using the mold. I am placing the piping gel directly on the cake this time. I took a measure of the space and I cut a piece of the ruffle from the mold. The piece doesn't have to be perfect, but you want the piece to be as close as you can to the size of what you need, because you don't want a lot of fondant hanging. It's gonna be harder to work with it. I match one side of the mold, and then for the other side, I'm just gonna cut it straight. I tried to figure what was the best way to finish this part. Since it's the back of the cake and I don't want to spend too much time playing with this cake, I'm just gonna cut it straight. So I used my bench scraper and made a cut straight on one side, then placed the other side on top of it without pressing it too much, and with the scraper I cut the other side to match the first side I cut. Then I pressed the fondant towards the cake, and as you can see, you have a line in there. Since this is the back of the cake, this should be fine just like this, but you can use a Dresden tool and just play with the ruffles and hide it. Just move the ruffles from each side until you're happy with how it looks. For those who always ask, I am using a tool right now. This is from Sugarworks Company, and it's a really cool tool. It has a soft tip and it's like silicone. It's a really nice material. As you can see, once you play with it, you barely see a line in the back. You can leave the top border if you want, just like it is. My cake was a little bit higher than the mold, so I decided to just add a border on top of the mold. I think it finishes the cake. It's not truly necessary unless you want to hide the top border. So adding this extra step depends on how much time you want to spend on the cake. I just cut a bunch of flowers, and to be honest, you don't have to have a specific shape to do this. You can use any cutter you want. Just make sure that your fondant is on the thinner side so it looks kind of delicate, and just crush them and put them on the side so you can place them on your cake. To place them on the cake, I cut the back so I had a flat surface, and then added some piping gel and just place all the little flowers all around the top border. I decided to add some color to my fondant. I am going to be using some petal dust in blue. Just add some lemon extract and make a nice liquid consistency that you can use to paint. make sure to mix this really well and find the right consistency. You don't want it too runny or too thick. If you add too much lemon extract, remember that it evaporates. So if it's too thin, just let it evaporate a little bit until it's the right consistency. Then with a brush, just go all around the cake. It's not difficult to paint and it's actually not time consuming. If you have an airbrush, you can use an airbrush, but just make sure to clean your airbrush really well if you're using petal dust with it. You don't want it to be clogged by it. And here is the whole cake finished. I will be posting the rest of the tutorial on my website under my cake family membership for those who are interested on learning the rest of the cake. I also just added to my cake family section how to make the beautiful closed peonies. All the links will be posted in the comment box below. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, visit me in Facebook, Instagram, visit my blog, and until next time, ta-ta!